We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings, secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
All right. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It is March 14th. Everyone survived the Friday the 13th yesterday, I assume, if you're listening to this. You're amongst the world of the living. So, as far as updates, worked last night. Got a walkthrough tomorrow and had quite a bit of stuff to stock, so I ended up staying for like a full 8 hours. Because if you work on your day off, you can kind of come and go as you please. I mean, technically, if you wanted to, you could just come in, work an hour, and then leave, you know. I wouldn't do that to them, but so I got some extra moolah, you know. That's about it as far as an update. Life is just same as usual. Just been reading some Dragon Ball, wherever it is. I don't know where I put it. I was going to show you what I got. Some Dragon Ball manga, but never mind, I can't find it. Don't worry about it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, Dragon Ball Super. I got it for like $5 because I have a huge Dragon Ball collection. I don't have them all. I wish. That'd be dope, but that's about it. As far as updates, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. If you like the work that I do, if you donate, I will send you a sticker. There's 3 left. So, let's get on with the show. Pam Bondi. Don't we love her? She's doing such a great job. Her, Cash Patel, Dan Bongino, you know, they're the greatest, man. They're just doing great. She got subpoenaed. So yeah, let's get into that. U.S. government committee subpoenas Attorney General Pam Bondi over the Epstein files. House Oversight Committee votes to subpoena Bondi over Justice Department's handling of files in the Epstein investigation. So, here's my thing. I'm white-pilled. You got blue pill, you got purple pill, you got red pill, you got black pill, and then you got white pill. I mean, I guess you could throw a gray in there in between black and white. I try to be white-pilled. Now, being white-pilled means that you first have to go through the black pill. And I've had my moments of being black-pilled, you know. I guess at the end of the day, I'd probably be gray-pilled, you know. Because there are times I'm still black-pilled, you know. On certain issues. But I don't like to give you guys hopium. But every time there's a small win, I always have to say, can we at least just have a small win? I mean, if there's zero hope, then just be black-pilled. But I kind of, I look up to like Sam Tripoli. Sam Tripoli's my boy. Not that I have idols or anything, but I look up to him, and honestly, I fell in love with his channel because me and him are a lot alike. Not that I was like copying him or anything, but just like our philosophies, our mindsets, the way we talk, our sense of humor. I was like, damn, I like this channel, you know, and I was immediately hooked. But he always says, if if I ever become black-pilled, that will be the day the tinfoil hat dies. Basically saying I will never podcast again if I become black-pilled. And I kind of had the same mindset too. Like, there was this one channel I used to listen to years ago, and I think the channel was literally called Black Pill Podcast, or Black Pilled, like ED, you know. And he did put out a lot of good info, but when you would listen to it, like, you would almost feel like stressed out, depressed, anxious afterwards, because he would never give a solution. And I'm not here to, like, give you solutions, but I am here to say, like, dude, it's not the end of the world. Like, and if it is the end of the world, it's not that big of a deal. Because either we're going to be reincarnated, or if you're a Christian, you're going to heaven. You know, like, I believe the world has went through multiple apocalypses. But my thing is, I always celebrate the small wins. And I know I get black-pilled people in my comments that go, oh, you know, like, do you really think anything's going to come of this? Is this, like, you're selling hopium? I'm not saying anything's going to come of this, but can we at least just celebrate for 2 seconds that Pam Bondi's getting subpoenaed? Just for 2 seconds. Just one little, yay! Even if nothing comes of this, can we at least just, yay, celebrate for 2 seconds, you know? Don't get your hopes up, but celebrate, you know? Just a little bit. Pop a bottle of champagne. Have a glass of champagne. So the United States House of Representatives Oversight Committee voted to subpoena Attorney General Pam Bondi, demanding she give testimony to the committee regarding the Department of Justice management of records linked to the investigation of sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Which we all know, if you guys have been keeping up with the Epstein case, that her and Cash and Bongino have done horrible. So, I'm glad she got subpoenaed. In a rare bipartisan rebuke, the motion, introduced by Republican Congresswoman Nancy Mace. I have no clue who she is. I ain't gonna lie, like, the only politicians I really truly keep up with is, like, Thomas Massey. I like him. Matt Gaetz is pretty cool. Marjorie Taylor Greene, which she's, as far as I know, I think she's retiring. Rand Paul. Robert F. Kennedy. That's about it, man. Everybody else kind of sucks. Passed on Wednesday with a vote of 24-19, including 5 Republicans joining Democrats in supporting the subpoena. So, I'm sure, like, the hardcore Republicans would say, you know, the, like, super hardcore right-wing ones would be like, oh, those turncoats, there's 5 of you who are betraying our beautiful party of elephants, and, you know. Yeah, because child trafficking and pedovorism, I don't know if that's a word, but I just created it. I know pedovore is a word. Pedovorism is rampant amongst the elite who control this world. And Pam Bondi's doing a horrible fucking job releasing these files. They were already supposed to be released last year. We are in March. And did we actually get all the fucking files finally? Did we? Or is there still more? You know, hang on. Sorry, my cat can't make up her mind if she wants in here or out of here. Old Lily. Committee members are seeking clarity on how sensitive files were handled, archived, and potentially withheld during the long-running probe by the Justice Department into the deceased sex offenders' illicit network. Attorney General Bondi will testify about missing Epstein evidence, the videos, the audio, the documents the DOJ is hiding, Mace of South Carolina said in a post on X. Awesome. Good. I don't know much about this Representative Nancy Mace, but I'm going to have to look into her because she sounds kind of cool in my book so far. If you know anything about her, hit me up in the comments. Is she cool or is she sketchy? You know? Let me move this camera down a little bit. She said the American people deserve transparency. We do. Survivors deserve justice. They do. We're delivering both. Accountability is coming. So in her X post, it says, we promise you answers. We promise you transparency. We promise you justice. We are working every single day to deliver. We just subpoenaed Attorney General Pam Bondi. More to come. Like I said, this could just be a tease. This could just be theater. I'm sure there's, like I said, there's people out there who are like black-pilled and shit, but I don't know. I'm going to celebrate a small win. A small win is better than no win, you know. We can win the battle even though we can't win the war. The Epstein files continue to haunt the administration of President Donald Trump. More than a year after Attorney General Bondi faced intense criticism for sharing no-reveal binders of documents containing no new revelations with conservative influencers. If you guys remember that, so basically what they did is they got all the fucking retard conservative influencers. By the way, if you call yourself an influencer, like, that's just fucking weird. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't like it. When people ask, like, what my channel is, I'm like, I'm a podcaster. You know, I'm a podcaster. I'm not an influencer. I do say content creation. Like, I'm a content creator just because I will do other videos besides podcasting. You know, I will hit the streets or do whatever, random shit, you know. Tensions then peaked. Oh, yeah, but anyways, so they brought all these conservative content creators, influencers, to this, like, basically kind of like a meeting, like an outdoor, like, get together, and Pam Bondi, like, was like, she gave them each, like, binders, and all it was shit that was already out there. It wasn't anything, so they're all like, we got the files, and it's like, you ain't got shit. And when they went through it, it's like, dude, we already knew all of this. This is all already out in the open. Like, pretty much they just compiled it all together and put it in a nice little binder and was like, acted like it was something new, you know. It was a bust. That was before, you know, the release of any of the Epstein files. Tensions then peaked in July 2025 when the Justice Department claimed no Epstein client list existed, which is hilarious. So Jeffrey Epstein procured children and trafficked them to no one except himself. Yeah. That's how that works. Prompting a bipartisan congressional mandate for a full release of all documents in the investigation. However, since the rollout of documents began in December, the administration has been under fire for allegedly fumbling the process and over-redacting files. Which, by the way, yes, they have been over-redacting, because the rule is they were only supposed to redact the victims' names, the victims' identities as far as photographs, video, and anything that would, like, insinuate the victim. So, like, if you could kind of, like, put 1 + 1 = 2. And they have literally been retracting the perpetrators. Here's the thing, though. Twice, I have seen 2 different ways. One was Mudahar, and the other one was Asmongold. Put out videos on how you can unredact the redacted, blacked out shit. As far as, like, blacked out text. Not so much the videos, but the text of, like, names and dates and whatever. So, I mean, if you knew how to do that, and if you had the time and stuff, that's probably when you should have done it. I've been mentioning it multiple times on this channel. I just don't have the time to do it. I work, you know, and shit, like, but So we technically have got the files. Now, there's two theories to that. Either it's like revelation of the method. There's multiple theories actually. It's either revelation of the method of like, hey, we're going to tell you the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, but you got to figure out how to, you know, unredact it. Or our government is completely untech savvy and incompetent, which I'm not very tech savvy. I'm just gonna admit it, but I don't work for the FBI. I don't work for the DOJ. Or the third theory is that there's someone, and I know I'm gonna sound like a Q-tard, but there's like a white hat or someone who's on the good team who works for the FBI who was like, sure, I'll redact all this shit. Click, click, click. Like, I'm going to do a shitty job, and anyone who's tech savvy knows how to unredact this shit. I don't know. I don't know what to think. Those are my three theories. Hit me up in the comments what you guys think about the redaction not really being a redaction and you're able to still see the complete uncensored files. I don't know if it's still like that. They probably fixed the bug by now, but it's possible. It was possible to unredact. While Justice Department officials maintain they are simply moving as fast as possible to legally vet millions of sensitive pages, Bondi has staunchly defended the Justice Department's handling of the files. Because the Dow is up. The Dow is up. Remember? That's all. That was like the craziest diversion. Like, who cares about the files? The Dow is up. You know? Trump's doing the same shit. We have the best economy right now. What the fuck are you talking about? Everything is still just as expensive as it was under Joe Biden. The only thing that went down was gas went down just a little bit. Besides that, everything's just as expensive, bro. Bondi has staunchly defended the Justice Department's handling of the file, accusing Democrats of stoking controversy over the documents to divert attention from President Trump's accomplishments in office. So there we go. Red versus blue, left versus right. And you guys know me, man. United we stand, divided we fall. We are not supposed to be a two-party system, man. You know, like our forefathers feared this shit. They spoke about this shit. One of their biggest fears is that the country would be split between a two-party system, man. What have we done? Two-party system. Left versus right, Democrat versus Republican. But the Democrats, blah, blah, blah. I get so tired. I don't even, honestly, man, when I'm in like a normal conversation with someone and they say Republican or Democrat within that conversation, I automatically just start shutting down. I don't completely shut down. I still try to listen, but as soon as they bring up the R and the D word, I'm like, oh, you don't get it. You think like there's actual teams and shit. Like, you don't get it that they're on the same team, that it's a uniparty. Like, you're not getting it, you know. However, much of the sharpest backlash against Bondi has originated from within the president's own party, where conservative lawmakers and supporters have expressed frustration over a perceived lack of transparency in the absence of new revelations despite the massive document release. Yes, we did get a shit ton of documents, but it's only like 1/3 if I remember correctly. Might be a little more. We did get another dump the other day, so it might be maybe half the documents now. Good. So all these conservative lawmakers, all these conservatives, these Republicans who are turning on the Republican Party and causing an uproar, I don't see them as turncoats. Your allegiance is not to the Republican Party. Your allegiance is to the United States of America. Good. There need to be more turncoats within the Republican Party. And there need to be more turncoats within the Democrat Party. Fuck this party shit, dude. Congressman Thomas Massie, that's my boy. He's from Kentucky too, man. He's fucking dope. In my opinion, man. He's been like gung-ho about the Epstein files. A prominent Republican and a vocal opponent of Trump who co-sponsored the resolution alongside Representative Mace. So, sounds like he was working with this Mace chick. And like I said, I had never heard her name until today, but sounds like she's pretty fucking dope. On Wednesday, has argued that the public has a right to know if their tax dollars were ever used to quietly settle sexual harassment claims involving members of Congress. Damn, okay. I haven't heard this shit yet, so he's just like prodding the bear. In a statement posted to X, Massey emphasized that government-funded settlements for personal misconduct should not be shielded from the taxpayers who paid them. Which, by the way, we all know our tax money, dude. It's all going towards shady fucking shit. Whether it be NASA, which is a money laundering scheme, black sites, which are CIA, God knows what the fuck they're doing. We won't find out until 20 years from now when they declassify it, if America's even still around. Plus the CIA launders money and moves money and pays. They traffic drugs, traffic children, traffic guns. Our tax money is not going where it should, you know. The move to demand Bondi's testimony comes a week after the Justice Department said it was looking into whether it had improperly withheld documents from the files, after several news organizations reported that some records involving uncorroborated accusations made by a woman against Trump were not among those released to the public. So Trump covering shit up, of course. That's why he didn't want the files released. And that's why it took so fucking long. I guarantee you he was going, I want you to go through these fucking files, talking to Cash, Bongino, and Bondi, like, and anything that is too fucking crazy about me is not to be in those fucking files. Anyone else is cool, but me, no. That, or I'm sure he probably had like a list of friends though too, like me and this guy and this guy, and probably had a whole list of anything consisting of me and my friends. No, cut that shit off. We ain't talking about that. That shit is not to be released. Former U.S. President Bill Clinton and his wife, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, recently appeared separately for closed-door depositions before the committee addressing Bill Clinton's long-standing connections to Epstein more than 2 decades ago, which, by the way, we did cover that in a previous episode. I'm just going to be straight up with you. What you want to do is, first of all, like, share, and subscribe. But if you subscribe to the channel, I have a whole Epstein list, and it's growing and growing and growing. That way you can just chronologically, and I don't do clickbait. I literally tell you what the podcast is about in the title. And I try to keep it as clear as day. I really don't try to do the whole clickbait shit, because I know some channels, they're like, oh my god, you know, the end is near, and then you click on it and it's like, well, that was clickbait. You know, I just wasted like 30 minutes of my life. In the Epstein playlist, though, we covered the Hillary and Bill Clinton interrogation, their little shit. I think it was like earlier this week we covered it. Yeah, if you just want like a summary of what was said and what was going on. Because those two depositions right there, I guess that would it be called a deposition? I don't know. Those two interviews right there, I think it was like 9 hours worth of chatting and interrogation. So, like, if you want just a summary, like, share, and subscribe, and go check out that playlist. Otherwise, go ahead and sit down for 9 hours. I don't have that time. I don't have that energy. God bless you if you do. It's just, I can't, you know. Alright, so I think we have a little more time. Let's get into one more story. So, second story. Larry Summers, a teacher at Harvard, is resigning during review of Epstein ties. Hang on. Former U.S. Treasury Secretary Larry Summers will resign from teaching at Harvard University. He was U.S. Treasury Secretary, which is a high position. So, money, 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 money. Money. As the campus reviews his ties to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, the university announced Wednesday. Summers, who has been on leave since November, and whose name appears hundreds of times in newly released Epstein files, will step down at the end of the school year, according to a statement from Harvard's spokesperson, Jason Newton. So, what did I say at the beginning of this? Small wins. I know. It's nothing huge, but I really do think we need to celebrate small wins every now and then. I mean, otherwise we're just going to go nuts and feel hopeless and become black-pilled. It's just my opinion. I celebrate small wins. Professor Summers has announced that he will retire from his academic and faculty appointments at Harvard at the end of the academic year and will remain on leave until that time, Newton said. Which, by the way, if he's saying he's going to retire, I don't know if he means permanently, but he was in charge of apparently the Treasury, Secretary of Treasury, so I'm sure there's some sketchy money that is involved. Hence, probably why he was so close to Epstein. Everyone's like, where did Epstein get his money? You know, I don't know. He knows Larry Summers. There's one source, probably, allegedly. In a statement, Summers said it was a difficult decision and expressed gratitude to the students and colleagues he worked with for over 50 years, including 5 as Harvard's presidents. So he was president of Harvard. Free of formal responsibility as president emeritus and a retired professor, I look forward in time to engaging in research, analysis, and commentary on a range of global economic issues. So he's still going to work, just apparently research and analysis, so I'm sure he'll write for some economic magazine or something. Justice Department's latest release has rippled through academia, uncovering Epstein ties to numerous researchers who sought his funding and his friendship even after he had become a convicted sex offender. Yeah, you and a bunch of motherfuckers, even after he was a convicted sex offender, still hung out with the guy, knowing this, still associated with him, still did business with him. Summers' resignation follows that of Dr. Richard Axel, a Nobel laureate, who on Tuesday announced he would step down as co-director of Columbia University's Zuckerman Mind-Brain Behavior Institute. That sounds scary as fuck. That sounds like some MK Ultra shit. Wonder why he's stepping down too. Follows that, was he in the Epstein files, this Richard Axel? Does anyone know? Hit me up in the comments if you know. Summers served as Treasury Secretary under President Bill Clinton, who was super tied in with Epstein, and went on to lead Harvard for 5 years starting in 2001, same year as 9/11. A trove of files released by the government cast new light on Summers' relationship with Epstein, which spanned years and included visits to one another at their homes in Massachusetts and New York. The two traded emails on topics ranging from politics and the economy to women and romance. By the way, dude, so Larry Summers stepped down, and we're going to wrap it up, but I'm not the most, I got a receding hairline, I'm missing teeth, I'm not the most handsome fellow. I am no Romeo, I'm no Fabio over here. I'm a scrawny little punk. Is it really that hard for these motherfuckers to find women? Yes, I've had my dry spells. I've been single for a while, but I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like it's a numbers game. These motherfuckers are supposedly so good with numbers. Like when I was single, anytime I'm single, there's like 3 or 4 women I am pursuing, and I swing the bat with each one. Eventually, I'm gonna hit the fucking ball. It's a numbers game. You know, people are like, "How do you get a girlfriend so quick?" Because I'm pursuing 3 or 4. And one of them's going to say yes. You know? Eventually, one of them's going to say yes. And it's like, you don't realize how many times I strike out. But once you strike out, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Now you are wasting less time on that one, and you can spend more time on the ones you are pursuing. I don't understand how these people are millionaires and billionaires, and they're having trouble finding women, and they have to go to fucking Epstein to find chicks. You've got millions of dollars and you're struggling finding women. I don't fucking get it, man. I don't fucking get it. But I guess we're going to wrap it up there. I love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. And YouTube has a feature called Hype. If you want to hype the video, please do. It pushes me up the algorithm. I like to save mine for smaller content creators like myself. Yes, I like larger content creators, but I will not hype their videos because it's like, you're already fucking huge. I save it for the smaller channels. My hype points. Also, take the polls and Spotify if you're listening. Helps. But that's about it. Y'all have a good day.